Okay, so last lesson we talked about interpreting box and whisker plots, and today we're going to actually go ahead and construct the box and whisker plots. So let's just think of a little bit of a reminder. Remember, with our box and whisker plots, we have a 5-number summary. That 5-number summary has to do with finding the minimum value, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum value. So all 5 of those things we need in order to interpret and also construct our box and whisker plot. So we are going to find all those values first and then make the box and whisker plot. So let's go ahead and take our data here. And the first thing we always need to do is arrange it from least to greatest. So let's go ahead, be very careful, make sure you don't skip any numbers, so cross it off and write it down. Cross it off, write it down, and keep going. We're going to list everything from least to greatest. There are 3 14s, so just be careful here. Remember, if you are somebody that writes very large, you want to try your best to make sure everything fits on one line to make it easier for you to create and separate your data. So here we have our data in order from least to greatest. The first thing we need to know is our maximum and our minimum. So our max is the largest value, which is 18. Our minimum is the smallest value, goes down to 11. Number 2, let's find the median. Our median, remember, we're going to go back and forth until we find the center. So back and forth with underlining or crossing off, whatever is the easiest for you. We're going to create pairs. And then if we have 1 left over, that would be our middle number or our median. So our median here is 14. Then I'm going to section off my data into the lower and upper half using my square brackets. And I have to find my upper and lower quartile, so quartile 1 and quartile 2. Oops, not quartile 2. Just want to count in order. Quartile 3, because quartile 2 is the median. So looking at my values, I've got 4 for the upper half and 4 for the lower half. So that means my quartiles should be in the middle of those 2 numbers. So quartile 1, well, the value that's between 12 and 12 is just 12, because there can't be another value in between them. If you need to make sure that that is true, if I add them up, 12 plus 12, divide by 2, 24, divided by 2, that's how I'm getting 12. Do the same thing for quartile 3, 14 plus 16, we're taking the average to find the middle number. So I'm going to get 30 and divide it by 2, so 15 in the middle. I also know that 15 is in between 14 and 16, so those are my quartiles. Now, just let's count, make sure we've got 5 total numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I've got my 5-number summary. Let's go ahead and plot on our number line. So I'm going to plot dots not on the graph, but above the graph a decent distance. So I'm just going to plot all those points first. So 11, 18, 14, 12, and 15. Okay, so outer 2 points get connected with lines. Inner 3 points, I'm going to draw lines through vertically and create my box around them. All right, and this is my box and whisker plot. We're going to give it a name. We're just going to call it data, because there is not really information about what this data set is telling us. All right, next page. Hey, I would like you to try this one on your own. All right, so we're gonna set this up a little bit together and then I'll have you try it on your own. So let's first go ahead and list from least to greatest. Let's go through, cross it off, write it down. 24, 26, 27.5, 36.5, 40, 49, and 50.5. All right, so these are lengths of bones. So first thing we want to do is identify the minimum and maximum. Well, smallest value is 23. Largest value is 50.5. We've got 2 of our 5 numbers. Let's find the median first. So we are going to go ahead and underline back and forth, 23, 50.5. I'm going to keep going until I'm left in the center, or that means everything's going to be right in the middle, so I have to find it. So I'm going to add it up, 27.5 plus 36.5, and divide by 2. When I add those together, I'm going to get 64, and divide it by 2, which is 32. So 32 is the median, or quartile 2. From there, I'm going to section off the data. So not including the median, everything above and everything below gets sectioned off. There are 4 numbers below, 4 numbers above. So that means quartile 1 will be in between, and quartile 3 will also be in between. I'm going to let you go ahead and find those 2 quartiles, so pause the video. Once you find the quartiles, I would like you to also create your box and whisker plot as best you can. So please pause the video, try it on your own, and then when you're all set, unpause and check. So for quartile 1, you should get 25. For quartile 3, you should end up having 44.5 when you add and divide. So remember, you're doing 40 plus 49 and dividing it by 2. All right, when you go to graph this, remember you're plotting the points above the line. So 25.5, 32, 44.5, and 50.5. Right, your lines connect with the outside 2 dots, and then vertical line through the 3 center dots, create your box around them. And we're going to label lengths of bone. All right, we've got some follow-up questions here. So it says, what is the longest bone? So the longest bone is the femur. I'm taking all of this information from my box and whisker plot and the data that they gave me. What is the first quartile of the given data? Well, we already found that. It's 25. The median, my middle number, is 32. The length of the shortest bone. So the shortest bone is the 8th rib, and it is 23 inches. The third quartile is 44.5. The interquartile range, remember I'm going to take quartile 3 and subtract quartile 1. So I'm going to have 44.5 minus 25 at 19.5. And then the range, so maximum minus minimum, 50.5 minus 23, and that's 27.5. All right, one more example. So I'm going to have you try this one completely on your own, so please go ahead and pause the video. When you're all set, unpause the video and check your work. Alrighty, so you should list them all from least to greatest first. 18, 22, 25. Make sure you have the right number of each one. All right. So minimum is 18, maximum is 30. To find our median, I'm going back and forth. All right, so that's going to be in the middle, so it's going to be between 24 and 22, and in between 28 and 30. So quartile 3 and quartile 2. So halfway between 22 and 24 should be 23. Halfway between 28 and 30 should be 29. You have to actually create this. So I counted up by 2s and I started at 10. So 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. All right, so I'm going to put my points down. 18, 23, 25, 29, and 30. So I've got my whiskers and my box. All right, that is all for this lesson. Good luck on your homework.